The alarm bells rang through the deep space monitoring station like the screams of dying stars. Lieutenant Commander Yan Su stared at her screen, watching impossible numbers scroll past her eyes. 2,000 ships, 2,000 massive alien warships had just appeared at the edge of their solar system. "Get me Admiral Taemin," she whispered into her headset. Her hands shook as she typed the confirmation codes. This was not a drill. This was not a system error. This was the day humanity had feared for 300 years. Admiral Park Tae-min was drinking his morning coffee when the call came through. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes that had seen too many wars between human colonies. But those wars were nothing compared to this. He set down his cup and walked quickly to the command center of the Earth Defense Station. "Report," he said in his calm voice that never showed fear. "Sir, we have detected a massive alien fleet at coordinates 77 Alpha. 2,000 ships, maybe more. They are bigger than anything we have ever seen." Yeon-su's voice cracked as she spoke. Taemin looked at the main screen. The alien ships looked like dark metal sharks floating in the black of space. Each one was at least twice the size of humanity's largest battleship. The flagship in the center was as big as a small moon. "How long until they reach Earth?" he asked. "At their current speed, about 72 hours, sir." Tae-min nodded slowly. 72 hours to prepare for the end of the world, or maybe the beginning of something else entirely. 3 hours later, Captain Lee Hana was running through the corridors of Luna Base toward her ship. She was young for a captain, only 28, but she was the best pilot in the human fleet. Her ship, the Shadow Dancer, was humanity's most advanced stealth corvette. It could hide from almost any sensor and move faster than anything else humans had built. "Captain Hana, report to Admiral Taemin immediately," came the voice over the comm system. She changed direction and ran toward the command center. When she arrived, she saw Admiral Taemin standing before a massive holographic display showing the alien fleet. Dr. Kim Jae-ho stood beside him looking nervous. "Captain," Taemin said without turning around, "I need you to get close to that fleet. We need to know what we are fighting." Hana saluted. "Yes, sir. How close?" "Close enough to scan their technology, close enough to count their weapons, close enough to see how they think." Dr. Kim spoke up. "Captain, be very careful. We do not know their sensor capabilities. If they detect you—" "I understand the risks," Hana said. She had been flying dangerous missions since she was 20. Fear was just another instrument to read, like fuel levels or engine temperature. On the alien flagship, Warlord Vextar stood in his command chamber, looking at the small blue planet in the distance. He was 8 feet tall with dark purple skin and 4 arms. His people, the Vorthak, had conquered 17 worlds in the past 50 years. This would be number 18. "Commander Kethvar, what do we know about these humans?" Vextar asked. Kethvar consulted his datapad. "Primitive species, Warlord. They have barely reached their own moon. Their weapons are chemical-based projectiles and simple energy beams. Their ships are slow and weak. We estimate total victory within 10 standard days." "Good. Send them the standard surrender message. Maybe some of them will be smart enough to submit without fighting." The surrender message reached Earth Defense Command within minutes. Admiral Taemin read it aloud to his staff. The aliens demanded complete surrender within 72 hours. All human governments must dissolve. All human military forces must disarm. All humans must prepare for life as servants to the Vorthak Empire. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked Colonel Besu, the head of Earth's ground forces. Taemin was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had just made a very dangerous decision. Open a channel to the alien fleet. "All frequencies." "Sir?" Yeon-su looked confused. "You heard me. I want to send them a message." The communication system crackled to life. Admiral Taemin spoke clearly and slowly so the aliens would understand every word. "To the alien fleet at the edge of our solar system, this is Admiral Park Taemin of the Earth Defense Force. We have received your surrender demand. We reject it completely. Instead, we offer you this warning. You have 72 hours to leave our solar system. Turn your ships around and go back to where you came from. If you do not leave, You will face consequences beyond your comprehension. This is your only warning. We will not give you another chance." The command center was silent when he finished. Dr. Kim looked pale. Colonel Basu stared at the Admiral as if he had lost his mind. "Sir," Dr. Kim said quietly, "they have 2,000 ships. We have maybe 300 that are ready for combat." "I know exactly how many ships they have," Taemin replied. "And I know exactly how many ships we have. But they do not know what our ships can do. They do not know what we can do." On the alien flagship, the bridge crew was laughing. Warlord Vextar replayed the human message 3 times, and each time his warriors laughed harder. "Consequences. Beyond our comprehension?" Kethavar wiped tears from his eyes. "These humans think they can threaten us with their tiny fleet?" "It is almost sad," Vextar said. "They are so primitive they do not understand how hopeless their situation is. Well, let them have their bravery for 72 hours. Then we will show them what real power looks like." But not everyone on the alien ship was laughing. Sub-Commander Zarlok had studied the human transmissions more carefully. Something bothered him about the Admiral's voice. There was no fear in it, no desperation, just cold certainty. "Warlord," Zarlok said carefully, "perhaps we should study these humans more before we attack. Their confidence seems unusual for such a weak species." Vextar stopped laughing. "Are you afraid of these animals, Zarlok?" "No, Warlord. But in my experience, when a weak enemy shows no fear, they either have powerful allies or powerful weapons we do not know about. These humans have no allies. We have checked, and their weapons are primitive. You worry too much, old friend. In 72 hours, this will all be over." Captain Hana was already moving toward the alien fleet in her stealth ship. The Shadow Dancer was invisible to most sensors, but she had never tested it against alien technology. She flew carefully, using asteroids and space debris to hide her approach. As she got closer, she could see the alien ships more clearly. They were beautiful in a terrible way, like weapons made by artists. Their hulls were covered with strange symbols that glowed with soft purple light. Each ship bristled with weapon ports and shield generators. But Hana was not just looking at their weapons. She was studying how they moved, how they communicated, how they thought. The alien ships flew in perfect formations, like they were dancing a rehearsed dance. Every movement was planned and precise. "Interesting," she whispered to herself. "You fight like machines, very orderly, very predictable." Back on Earth, Dr. Kim was deep underground in a facility that did not officially exist. The Prometheus Project had been humanity's most secret program for 20 years. Using technology found in ancient ruins on Mars, they had built weapons that even most of Earth's government did not know about. "Is it ready?" asked his assistant, Dr. Na Young. "The first phase is ready," Kim replied, checking his instruments. "But I hope we do not have to use the final phase. If we activate that, there may not be much left of Earth to defend. The aliens do not know what they are walking into, do they?" "No," Kim said grimly. "But then again, neither do we. We have never tested this technology in real combat. We are about to find out if 20 years of work will save humanity or destroy it." The 72 hours began to count down. On Earth, every military base went to maximum alert. Civilian ships were quickly fitted with weapons. Mining stations in the asteroid belt armed their industrial equipment for war. Even school children helped load ammunition and prepare supplies. But throughout the solar system, something else was happening. Hidden facilities that had been disguised as research stations or mining operations began to reveal their true purpose. Weapon platforms that had been built in secret started to power up their systems. Admiral Taemin stood in his command center and watched the countdown timer. In 69 hours and 15 minutes, they would learn if humanity would survive or become slaves to an alien empire. "Sir," Yonsu said quietly, "do you really think we can win?" Taemin smiled again, that same dangerous smile. "Lieutenant, Commander, these aliens think they know what humans are capable of. They think they understand how we fight. They think they know what we will do when faced with extinction." He turned to look at her directly. "They are wrong about all of those things. And by the time they figure that out, it will be far too late." In the alien fleet, Warlord Vextar was already planning his victory celebration. He had no idea that he had just made the biggest mistake in Vorthak history. The warning had been given. The countdown had begun, and somewhere in the darkness between the stars, ancient weapons were waking up. The alien fleet moved through space like a dark cloud of death. Warlord Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small blue planet grow larger on his screens. Behind him, his commanders prepared for what they thought would be an easy victory. "Warlord," Commander Kethavar said, reading from his display, "our advanced scouts report no change in human military positions. Their few ships remain near their planets. They do not appear to be preparing any serious defense." Vextar nodded with satisfaction. Of course not. They know they cannot win. Their warning was just empty words to make themselves feel brave before they die. But Sub-Commander Zarlok was still troubled. He had spent the past day studying every human transmission they could intercept. The humans were not acting like any species the Vorthak had conquered before. "Warlord," Zarlok said carefully, "I have been analyzing human communications. They are not showing fear or panic. Most conquered species spend their final days in chaos, fighting among themselves or trying to flee, but these humans seem to be organizing for war." "Let them organize," Vextar laughed. 100 rabbits organizing together are still just rabbits. They cannot defeat a single wolf, no matter how well they plan. On Earth, Admiral Tae-min was indeed organizing, but not in the way the aliens expected. In a hidden bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean, he met with the leaders of every human military force and several people who did not officially exist. "The alien fleet will reach Jupiter's orbit in 36 hours, he told the group. "Captain Hana's reconnaissance shows they are overconfident and predictable. They expect us to meet them in open battle with traditional tactics." General Kim So-yun, the head of Mars Defense Forces, leaned forward. "Admiral, with respect, we cannot win a traditional battle. They outnumber us 6-1, and their ships are larger." "Which is exactly why we will not fight a traditional battle," Tae-min replied. He activated a holographic display showing the solar system. "Dr. Kim, report on Prometheus status." Dr. Kim Jae-ho stood up slowly. Even in this room full of Earth's most secret leaders, the Prometheus project was known only to a few. "Phase 1 installations are ready. We have 16 weapon platforms disguised as asteroid mining stations. Each one can destroy a capital ship. Phase 2 is ready on Mars, Luna, and 3 outer colonies. Phase 3..." He paused. "Phase 3 is ready, but Admiral, if we use it, the environmental damage to Earth could be catastrophic." "Understood," Tae-min said. "Let us hope we do not need Phase 3. "Colonel Soo-jin, what about civilian participation?" Colonel Soo-jin smiled grimly. "Sir, we have had more volunteers than we can use. Mining ships are being fitted with plasma cutters. Cargo haulers are being filled with explosives. Even passenger liners are being converted to carry fighters. The aliens expect to fight our military. They do not expect to fight our entire civilization." Captain Hana's voice came through the communication system from her ship, still hidden near the alien fleet. "Admiral, I have new intelligence. The alien ships use a shield frequency that rotates every 12 minutes. During the rotation, there is a 3-second window where their shields are vulnerable to specific energy wavelengths." "Outstanding work, Captain. Can you transmit the technical details to Dr. Kim?" "Already done, sir." "Also, Admiral, their command ship is heavily protected, but it has one weakness. The Warlord's personal quarters have a separate shield generator that operates on a different frequency. If we can isolate and overload it, you could take out their leader directly," Tae-min finished. "Very good. Maintain your position and keep watching. The moment they cross Jupiter's orbit, you know what to do." In the asteroid belt, Commander Bae-hyun was making final preparations at Mining Station Delta 7. From the outside, it looked like any other mining operation. But hidden beneath the asteroid's surface were weapons that had been built using technology found in ancient ruins on Mars. "Commander," his Lieutenant Dongwoo said nervously, "are you sure this will work? We have never tested the plasma lance at full power." "It will work," Bae-hyun said with more confidence than he felt. "And if it does not, we will ram our station into their ship. Either way, they will remember us." The countdown timer showed 18 hours remaining when something unexpected happened. A small Vorthak scout ship separated from the main fleet and moved toward Earth at high speed. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Yeon-soo reported, "single alien vessel approaching at maximum speed. It appears to be transmitting a message." "Let me hear it," Taemin ordered. The alien voice was electronic and cold. Humans of Earth, this is Commander Veltar of the Vorthak scout vessel Death Song. I come with a final offer from Warlord Vextar. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick and painless. Resist, and we will make your suffering last for days. You have 1 hour to respond. The bridge was silent for a moment. Then Admiral Taemin began to laugh. It started as a quiet chuckle, but grew into genuine laughter that filled the command center. Sir? Yonsu looked confused. Do you know what that was? Taemin asked, still smiling. That was fear. They sent a scout ship to try to frighten us because our warning made them nervous. They are starting to doubt themselves. He activated the communication system. Commander Veltar of the Death Song. This is Admiral Park Taemin. I have a message for your warlord. We gave you 72 hours to leave our solar system. You now have 17 hours and 43 minutes. When that time expires, you will discover why every species in this galaxy should fear humanity. That is all. The scout ship immediately turned and raced back toward the alien fleet at maximum speed. On the Vorthak flagship, Warlord Vextar listened to Commander Veltar's report with growing anger. They laughed at our offer? He roared. This human admiral actually laughed? Yes, Warlord. And his voice, there was no fear, only certainty, as if he knows something we do not. Sub-Commander Zarlok stepped forward. Warlord, perhaps we should reconsider our approach. These humans are not behaving like any species we have encountered. Their confidence suggests they may have capabilities we have not detected. Vextar's 4 arms gestured angrily. Enough! I am tired of hearing about human capabilities. They are primitives with primitive weapons. Tomorrow, when we reach their outer planets, I will show you how wrong you are to fear them. But privately, Vextar was beginning to have doubts. In 50 years of conquest, he had never encountered a species that showed no fear when faced with the Vorthak fleet. Every other race had begged for mercy or tried to negotiate. These humans just kept making threats. Captain Hana watched the alien fleet from her hiding place behind a large asteroid. She had been studying their movements for days now, and she noticed something interesting. The aliens flew in perfect formations, never varying their patterns. Their communication followed strict protocols. Everything they did was organized and predictable. They fight like a machine, she whispered to herself. Very efficient, but no creativity, no adaptation. She opened a secure channel to Admiral Taemin. Sir, I recommend we use chaos tactics against them. Their entire command structure depends on order and predictability. If we can disrupt that, their formations will collapse. Explain, Taemin's voice came back. Instead of meeting them in formation, we hit them from all directions at once. Mining ships, civilian vessels, hidden weapons platforms, everything. Attacking simultaneously with no coordination, they will not know how to respond to complete chaos. Approved. Transmit the details to all commanders. Operation Chaos begins the moment they enter Jupiter's orbit. 12 hours remained when Dr. Kim received an urgent message in his underground laboratory. His assistant, Dr. Na Young, ran into the room with a data pad in her hands. Dr. Kim, we have a problem. The energy readings from the alien ships are higher than we calculated. If they all fire at once, our Phase 2 shields might not hold. Kim studied the data carefully. Then we accelerate to Phase 3 earlier than planned. Begin charging the planetary defense grid. If our shields fail, we will turn Earth itself into a weapon. Sir, the environmental damage could be enormous. Earthquakes, massive storms, possible changes to our orbit. Better a damaged Earth than no Earth at all, Kim replied grimly. Begin the charging sequence. On Mars, General Kim So-hyun was addressing her troops. Mars had been humanity's first major colony, and its people were tough and independent. They had turned their entire planet into a fortress over the past 20 years. Soldiers, she said to the assembled forces. Tomorrow the aliens will learn why Mars is called the Red Planet. It is not just the color of our soil, it will be the color of their blood. The troops cheered, but So-hyun knew the truth. Mars could not hold against the full alien fleet, but they could make the aliens pay such a terrible price that the survivors would think twice about continuing to Earth. 6 hours remained when something happened that no one expected. A group of alien ships broke away from the main fleet and headed toward the outer mining stations. It appeared the aliens wanted to test human defenses before committing their full force. "Admiral," Yonsu reported, 50 alien ships approaching. "Mining Station Alpha 12. The station commander is requesting instructions." Taman thought for a moment. This was earlier than planned, but perhaps it was better this way. The 72 hours expired at exactly 0800 Earth Standard Time. Warlord Vextar stood on his command bridge, watching the timer reach 0. He had expected the humans to contact him again, perhaps begging for mercy now that their deadline had passed. But there was only silence. "Warlord," Commander Kethvar reported, "the humans have sent no additional communications. Their fleet positions remain unchanged. They appear to be waiting for us to make the first move." "Then we shall oblige them," Vextar said coldly. "Begin the assault. I want those outer mining stations destroyed first. Show these humans what happens when they defy the Vorthak Empire." The alien fleet moved forward in perfect formation. 200 ships broke away from the main group and headed toward Jupiter's orbit, where human mining operations appeared vulnerable and undefended. Vextar smiled with satisfaction. This would be easy. Captain Hana watched from her hidden position as the alien attack force approached the mining ships near Jupiter. From space, it looked like a collection of helpless civilian vessels going about their daily work. But Hana knew better. "Shadow Dancer to all mining vessels," she transmitted on a secure frequency. "Phoenix Protocol is now active. Repeat, Phoenix Protocol is active. Commander Jin Woo, captain of the mining ship Asteroid." Hunter received the message and smiled grimly. His ship looked like an ordinary rock hauler, but appearances could be deceiving. "All crew to battle stations," he announced. "Time to show these aliens what human miners can do." The Vorthak attack ships opened fire first, targeting what they thought was the largest and most defenseless mining vessel. Energy beams struck the human ship's hull, but instead of exploding, the ship's exterior plating fell away like shed skin. Underneath was military-grade armor and weapon systems. "Now!" Jin Woo shouted. The mining ship revealed its true nature. Industrial plasma cutters, normally used for processing asteroids, swiveled toward the alien ships. But these cutters had been modified far beyond their original specifications. When they fired, beams of superheated plasma sliced through Vorthak's shields like they were made of paper. The lead alien ship was cut in half before its crew could react. The second ship tried to turn away, but another mining vessel rammed it at full speed. The human ship exploded on impact, but it took the alien vessel with it. All around Jupiter's orbit, what had appeared to be defenseless mining operations revealed themselves as hidden weapons platforms. Ships that looked like cargo haulers opened to release swarms of fighters, vessels that seemed to be transporting ore-fired missiles that had been disguised as shipping containers. "What in the void is happening?" Vexitar roared as reports flooded in from his attack force. "Sir, the human mining ships are armed with unknown weapons," came the panicked voice of Squadron Leader Telvan. "They are destroying our ships. These are not civilian vessels. This is a trap." Captain Hana chose that moment to strike. The Shadow Dancer dropped its stealth field and appeared directly behind the alien command ship. Her weapons were smaller than those on the mining vessels, but they were precisely targeted. She fired at the shield generator weak points she had identified during her reconnaissance. The alien ship's shields flickered and failed in several sections. Hana's second volley punched through the hull, causing massive explosions inside the ship. "One down," she said calmly, then vanished back into stealth mode. The Vorthak attack force was in chaos. They had expected to face helpless miners, but instead found themselves fighting an enemy that used deception and surprise tactics they had never encountered. Worse, the human weapons seemed to ignore their shield technology completely. "Retreat!" Squadron Leader Telvan ordered. "All ships, retreat to the main fleet." But retreating proved easier to order than to accomplish. The human ships did not fight like any enemy the Vorthak had faced. Instead of organized battle lines, they attacked from all directions at once. Mining ships used their industrial equipment as weapons. Cargo vessels rammed alien ships in suicide attacks. Even small maintenance pods were fitted with explosives and guided into enemy hulls. Commander Bae Hyun watched from Mining Station Delta 7 as the alien ships tried to flee. His station had been disguised as a simple asteroid processing facility, but now it revealed its true purpose. Weapon ports opened across the asteroid's surface, and energy beams reached out like fingers of death. "Target the largest ship," Bae-hyun ordered. "Full power to the plasma lance." The station's main weapon fired. It was a beam of energy so intense that it lit up the space around Jupiter like a second sun. The targeted alien ship simply ceased to exist, vaporized in an instant. "Recharge and fire again," Bae-hyun said calmly. "Do not let any of them escape to warn the others." Of the 200 alien ships that had attacked the Jupiter mining operations, only 37 made it back to the main fleet. They returned in disorder, their crews traumatized by weapons and tactics they could not understand. Warlord Vextar listened to the reports with growing rage and fear. "Impossible," he muttered. "How can primitives have such technology?" Sub-Commander Zarlok approached carefully. "Warlord, perhaps we should reconsider our approach. These humans are clearly more advanced than our intelligence indicated." "No!" Vextar slammed his fist on the command console. "They got lucky. They had some hidden weapons we did not expect. But they cannot have many ships with such capabilities. We will overwhelm them with our full fleet." But Kethvar was studying the battle reports more carefully. "Warlord, I am not certain this was luck. The human tactics show planning and coordination. They deliberately made their mining operations appear defenseless to lure us into a trap." "So what if they did?" Vextar snapped. "We still have over 1,700 ships. They cannot have more than a few hundred. Numbers will win this war." On Earth, Admiral Taemin was receiving his own battle reports. The first engagement had gone better than expected, but he knew the real test was still coming. "Casualties?" he asked Colonel Soo-jin. 43 ships lost, mostly from ramming attacks," she reported. "But we destroyed 163 alien vessels. More importantly, we have shown them that our weapons work against their shields." Dr. Kim joined the conversation from his underground laboratory. "Admiral, the energy readings from the alien fleet suggest they are charging all weapons for a massive assault. They intend to attack everything at once." "Good," Taemin said. "Let them commit their full fleet. Captain Hana, what is your status?" Hana's voice came through the communication system. "Shadow Dancer is undamaged and ready for the next phase. I have identified the alien flagship's weak points. When you give the order, I can take out their command structure." "Not yet," Taemin replied. "Let them come to us first. Dr. Kim, are the Phase 2 installations ready?" "All Mars defensive positions are online," Kim confirmed. "Luna Base is prepared. The asteroid belt weapon platforms are charged and waiting. But, Admiral, if they attack with their full fleet, they will learn that numbers alone do not win wars," Taemin said firmly. "Preparation to all stations. Operation Hammer is now active." The alien fleet began moving toward Mars. Vextar had decided to bypass the outer mining stations and strike directly at human population centers. Mars was humanity's largest colony after Earth, and destroying it would break human morale. General Kim So-hyun watched the approaching alien fleet from her command center deep beneath the Martian surface. Mars had been turned into a fortress world over the past 20 years, but most of the defenses were hidden from orbital detection. General, her aide commander Lee Tae-sung reported, "Alien fleet will reach Mars orbit in 4 hours. They appear to be concentrating all their forces for a single massive attack." "Perfect," So-hyun said. "Signal all defensive positions. When they enter Mars orbit, they will find out why we call this the Red Planet." The alien fleet approached Mars in a massive formation that stretched across thousands of kilometers. Vextar was confident that this overwhelming display of force would finally break human resistance. "Begin bombardment," he ordered. "I want every human installation on that planet destroyed." 2,000 alien ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and plasma missiles rained down on Mars like a storm of destruction. The planet's surface lit up with explosions as the alien weapons struck. But something was wrong. The explosions were too small, too scattered. Most of the alien weapons were hitting empty ground or decoy installations. "Sir," Kethvar reported with confusion, "our targeting sensors show the human installations are destroyed, but I am detecting no reduction in their defensive capabilities." General So-hyun smiled from her deep bunker. "They fell for it," she said with satisfaction. All those years building fake bases and dummy installations just paid off. Signal Phase 2 activation. Across Mars, what appeared to be natural rock formations suddenly revealed themselves as weapon emplacements. Mountains opened to reveal massive gun barrels. Canyon walls slid aside to expose missile batteries. Even the polar ice caps had been hollowed out and filled with defensive systems. The red planet became truly red as thousands of weapons fired simultaneously. Unlike the human ships near Jupiter, these were not improvised weapons or converted mining equipment. These were military installations built specifically to destroy alien invaders. The surviving Vorthak fleet limped away from Mars, but Warlord Vextar's rage burned hotter than the red planet's weapons. He had lost almost half his ships to what he had believed were primitive humans. His pride would not allow retreat without striking back. Kethvar, he snarled from his damaged command bridge. Split the fleet into attack groups. We will bypass their defenses and strike directly at their population centers. If we cannot defeat their military, we will break their spirit by destroying their civilians. Subcommander Zarlok stepped forward nervously. Warlord, with respect, these humans have shown they are far more dangerous than we anticipated. Perhaps we should withdraw and request reinforcements? Vextar's four arms gestured angrily. Withdraw? Flee from primitives? I would rather die than report such shame to the Empire. No, we will find a way to win this war. But privately, Vextar was beginning to understand that he had made a terrible mistake. These humans did not fight like any species the Vorthak had conquered. They were unpredictable, ruthless, and seemed to welcome death if it meant destroying their enemies. The remaining 1,200 Vorthak ships divided into smaller fleets. One group headed toward Luna Base, another moved toward the outer colonies. The largest force aimed for Earth itself, hoping to strike at the human homeworld while their defenses were focused on Mars. Commander Bae Hyun watched from his asteroid mining station as one of the alien fleets approached Luna. He had volunteered to coordinate the moon's defense, even though it meant leaving the relative safety of his hidden weapons platform. All Luna defense units, this is Commander Bae Hyun, he transmitted to the moon's military installations. The aliens are coming for our civilians. Show them what happens when someone threatens human families. Luna Base had been humanity's first major off-world colony. Every human child learned about the brave colonists who had built a new world on the airless moon. Now that world was about to become a battlefield. Colonel Yoon Dae-ho commanded Luna's defense forces from the underground city of Armstrong. Unlike Mars, Luna had not been built as a fortress world. It was a civilian colony with research stations, mining operations, and millions of ordinary people trying to live their lives. But the people of Luna were not helpless. When the alert came that aliens were approaching, every civilian facility began to transform. Research laboratories revealed hidden weapon workshops. Mining equipment was quickly converted into military hardware. Even schools and hospitals were turned into defensive positions. Sir, Lieutenant Park Min-ho reported, the alien fleet consists of 300 ships. They are approaching from the dark side of Luna, probably hoping to avoid Earth's sensor coverage. They are about to learn that humans prepare for war everywhere we live, Dae-ho replied. Signal all civilian volunteers. Operation Moonrise is now active. The Vorthak fleet approached Luna expecting to find easy targets. Their sensors showed civilian installations, research facilities, and mining operations. Nothing that could threaten their powerful warships. Squadron leader Vorthak led the attack force with confidence. After the disasters at Jupiter and Mars, he was eager to prove that Vorthak's superiority could still win easy victories against human civilians. Begin bombardment, he ordered. Target all population centers. We will show these humans the price of resistance. The alien ships opened fire on Luna's surface installations, but as their weapons struck, something unexpected happened. The installations did not simply explode and die. Instead, they revealed defensive systems that had been hidden beneath fake civilian facades. A research laboratory shed its outer shell to reveal a missile battery. A mining station's equipment bay opened to show plasma cannons. Even a children's school transformed into a defensive bunker with automated gun systems. What? Vorthak stared at his displays in confusion. How can civilians have military weapons? His answer came in the form of thousands of missiles rising from Luna's surface. But these were not ordinary military missiles. They had been built by scientists, engineers, and technicians who had spent years preparing for this moment. The first missile wave struck the alien formation before they could react. Vorthak watched in horror as his ships began to explode around him. These weapons were smaller than the massive installations on Mars, but they were precisely targeted and devastatingly effective. "Sir, we are taking heavy casualties," his weapons officer reported. "The humans have turned their entire colony into a weapons platform." But the worst surprise was yet to come. From behind Luna's horizon, a new threat appeared. Captain Hana led a squadron of human fighters that had been hidden on the moon's far side. These ships were not the converted mining vessels the aliens had fought before. They were purpose-built warships, fast and deadly. "Shadow Squadron, this is Shadow Leader," Hana transmitted to her pilots. "These aliens came here to kill civilians. Show them why that was a mistake." The human fighters attacked with tactics the Vorthak had never seen. Instead of flying in formation, each pilot fought independently, using the moon's low gravity and airless environment to their advantage. They flew through Luna's canyon networks, using the terrain to hide from alien sensors. Lieutenant Commander Jiwoo piloted her fighter through a narrow valley with an alien ship in pursuit. At the last moment, she pulled up sharply, using Luna's weak gravity to climb almost vertically. The alien ship, designed for atmospheric flight, could not match the maneuver and crashed into the valley wall. "Another one down," Jiwoo reported, calmly. "These aliens do not understand how to fight in space." The battle for Luna became a nightmare for the Vorthak attack force. They had expected to destroy defenseless civilians, but instead found themselves fighting an entire world that had been weaponized. Every installation, every piece of equipment, even the landscape itself had been turned into a weapon. Worse, the human defenders seemed to have no fear of death. When their weapons ran out of ammunition, they rammed their fighters into alien ships. When their installations were damaged, the crews kept fighting until the very end. Squadron leader Vorthak tried to retreat, but found that the humans had anticipated that too. Captain Hana's squadron had moved to block the escape routes, and more human ships were arriving from Earth orbit. "Sir," his navigation officer reported with panic in his voice, "we are surrounded. The humans have us trapped." "Impossible," Vorthak said. "We outnumber them 3-1. Numbers do not matter when the enemy is willing to die to kill you," came a human voice over the communication system. It was Captain Hana, speaking directly to the alien commander. "You came here to murder civilians. Now you will pay the price." The remaining Vorthak ships tried desperately to escape, but they were hunted down one by one. Human fighters pursued them through Luna's orbital space, showing no mercy. When the battle ended, less than 50 alien ships managed to flee back toward the main fleet. On Earth, Admiral Taemin received reports from all the battle zones. The aliens had attacked Luna, the outer colonies, and were approaching Earth itself. But in every case, they had found not helpless victims, but armed and ready defenders. "Sir," Colonel Sujin reported, "the alien attack on Colony 7 was completely destroyed. The colonists used their terraforming equipment as weapons. Apparently, machines designed to change planetary atmospheres work very well for destroying spaceships." "And the attack on the research stations?" Taemin asked. "Wiped out," she replied with satisfaction. "It turns out that scientists who study exotic matter can build some very creative weapons. The aliens never got close to any civilian targets." Dr. Kim joined the conversation from his underground laboratory. "Admiral, we are detecting massive energy buildup from the alien flagship. They appear to be preparing for a final assault on Earth itself." "Let them come," Taemin said grimly. "It is time to show them what happens when someone threatens the human homeworld." The largest remaining alien force, led by Warlord Vextar himself, approached Earth with desperate fury. They had been humiliated at every turn, their forces shattered, by enemies they had thought were primitive. But Earth was the human home world. Surely it would not be as heavily defended as the colonies. Vextar was wrong about that too. As the alien fleet approached Earth's orbit, they encountered the most sophisticated defensive network any species had ever built. Hidden weapon platforms revealed themselves throughout Earth's orbital space. The moon itself opened massive weapon ports that had been disguised as mining operations. But the most terrifying surprise was the space stations. What had appeared to be civilian research facilities and commercial platforms suddenly revealed their true nature. Each one was a fortress armed with weapons that used technology beyond Vorthak understanding. "Sir," Kethvar reported with barely controlled fear, "I am reading energy signatures from Earth's surface that do not match any known technology. The entire planet appears to be some kind of weapon." Dr. Kim was making final preparations for Phase 3 of the Prometheus project. The ancient technology found in Martian ruins had been integrated with Earth's own magnetic field and rotation. If activated, it would turn the planet itself into a massive directed energy weapon. "Dr. Nayung," he said to his assistant, "begin final charging sequence. If the aliens breach our orbital defenses, we will show them that Earth itself can fight back." Warlord Vextar stood on the broken bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet Earth grow larger on his cracked display screens. Around him, the remnants of his once mighty fleet limped toward what he hoped would be final victory. But hope was a luxury he could no longer afford. Of the 2,000 ships that had entered this cursed solar system, fewer than 400 remained functional. The humans had not just defeated his forces. They had hunted them, pursued them, destroyed them with a methodical efficiency that defied everything he thought he knew about warfare. "Warlord," Commander Kethvar said quietly, "perhaps we should signal for retreat. We could return to Vorthak space and request reinforcements." "No," Vextar said through gritted teeth. "If we return empty-handed, the Empire will have us executed for failure. Our only chance is to destroy their homeworld. Even primitives must have some weakness." But Sub-Commander Zarlok had been studying the human defensive patterns, and what he saw filled him with dread. "Warlord, I must report something troubling. The humans are not fighting like any species we have encountered. They do not just defend. They actively seek to destroy us completely. And their technology—" He paused. "Their technology is not primitive. It may be more advanced than our own." "Impossible," Vextar snapped, but his voice lacked conviction. He had seen human weapons tear through Vorthak's shields like they were made of paper. He had watched human ships appear from nowhere and vanish just as quickly. These were not the actions of a primitive species. On Earth, Admiral Taemin watched the approaching alien fleet from his command center. The final phase of humanity's plan was about to begin. Everything they had done so far had been preparation for this moment. "Dr. Kim," he said into his communication system, "what is the status of the planetary defense grid?" Dr. Kim's voice came back from his underground laboratory, tinged with both excitement and fear. "Admiral, the grid is fully charged. Earth's magnetic field has been converted into a directed energy weapon. But I must warn you again, the environmental effects will be severe." "Understood," Taemin replied. "Captain Hana, what is your position?" "Shadow Fleet is in position behind the alien formation," Hana responded. "They do not know we are here. When you give the signal, we will cut off their retreat." Admiral Taemin took a deep breath. What happened next would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of humanity in the galaxy. The aliens had ignored their warning. Now they would face the consequences. "All stations, this is Admiral Taemin," he announced to every human military unit in the solar system. "Operation Final Judgment is now active. Show these invaders why they should have listened to our warning." The alien fleet approached Earth's orbital space, expecting to face the same kind of defenses they had encountered at Mars and Luna. But Earth was different. Earth was humanity's home world, and it had been preparing for this war far longer than the aliens could imagine. As the Vorthak ships crossed into Earth's orbital defense zone, the planet itself seemed to come alive. What had appeared to be civilian space stations revealed massive weapon arrays. The moon opened weapon ports the size of city blocks. But most shocking of all, Earth's own magnetic field began to fluctuate in patterns that defied natural law. "Sir," Kethvar reported with growing panic, "I am detecting massive energy buildups from the planet's surface. The readings are off our scales." Vextar stared at his instruments in disbelief. "How can an entire planet be a weapon?" His answer came in the form of the most devastating attack any Vorthak had ever witnessed. Earth's magnetic field, twisted and focused by technology, beyond alien understanding, lashed out like the hand of an angry god. Energy beams the size of mountains reached into space, striking alien ships with power that simply erased them from existence. The first wave of alien ships vanished in flashes of light so bright they could be seen from Mars. The second wave tried to retreat, but found their path blocked by Captain Hana's hidden fleet. "Alien ships," Hana transmitted on all frequencies. "This is Captain Lee Hana of the Earth Defense Force. You were warned to leave our solar system. You chose to ignore that. Warning! Now you will face the consequences." The human ships that emerged from hiding were unlike anything the aliens had seen before. These were not converted mining vessels or modified civilian craft. These were true warships, built with the combined knowledge of ancient Martian technology and human innovation. Each human ship was smaller than a Vorthak cruiser, but they moved with impossible speed and agility. Their weapons fired beams of energy that seemed to bend space itself. Most terrifying of all, they fought with tactics that no Vorthak commander could predict or counter. Lieutenant Commander Ji Woo piloted her fighter directly toward an alien battleship 10 times her size. As the enemy ship fired at her, she did something that violated every principle of space combat the aliens understood. Instead of dodging, she flew straight into the alien weapon beam, using her ship's exotic energy shields to redirect the energy back at the attacker. The alien ship was destroyed by its own weapons. "These humans are insane!" Squadron Leader Telvan screamed over the communication system. "They use our weapons against us! How is this possible?" But Captain Hana was not finished, demonstrating human capabilities. "All units, activate Phase 4 protocols. Show them what happens when someone threatens the human home." Across Earth's orbital space, human ships began to do something that shattered Vorthak understanding of warfare. Instead of simply fighting, to win, they fought to completely annihilate their enemies. When human fighters ran out of ammunition, they rammed alien ships. When human cruisers were damaged beyond repair, they overloaded their reactors and took enemy vessels with them. But what truly terrified the aliens was the coordination. Every human ship, from the largest battleship to the smallest fighter, worked together like parts of a single organism. They shared information instantly, adapted to changing conditions without hesitation, and supported each other with a unity that no Vorthak fleet had ever achieved. Warlord Vextar watched his fleet die around him, and finally understood the truth. These humans had not just prepared for war, they had evolved for it. Every aspect of their society, their technology, their very way of thinking was designed for one purpose: the complete destruction of their enemies. "Signal retreat," he whispered. "Warlord?" Kathavar could not believe what he was hearing. "Signal retreat!" Vextar roared. "Get us away from this cursed system!" But as the surviving alien ships tried to flee, they discovered that the humans had anticipated this too. Earth's planetary defense grid fired again, not at the ships near the planet, but at the escape routes. Beams of directed energy reached across millions of kilometers, cutting off every path back to Vorthak space. "We are trapped," Zarlok reported with quiet despair. "The humans have blocked all escape vectors. They intend to destroy us completely." "Admiral," Taemin's voice reached the alien flagship through their communication system. "Warlord Vextar of the Vorthak Empire. You were given 72 hours to leave our solar system peacefully. You chose to ignore our warning. You chose to attack our colonies. You chose to threaten our families. Now you will face the final consequence of those choices." The remaining alien ships, fewer than 50 out of the original 2,000, found themselves surrounded by human forces that showed no mercy, but the humans did not simply destroy them quickly. Instead, they did something that would haunt Vorthak nightmares for generations to come. They hunted them. Captain Hana led pursuit squadrons that chased individual alien ships across the solar system. When the aliens tried to hide in asteroid fields, human fighters found them. When they attempted to send distress calls to their empire, human jammers blocked their signals. When they begged for mercy, human voices replied with the same message over and over again. "You were warned." Dr. Kim monitored the hunt from his laboratory, watching as his instruments detected the destruction of alien ship after alien ship. But his attention was focused on something else. His deep space sensors were picking up signals from Vorthak space itself. "Admiral," he reported to Taemin, "I am detecting massive communication traffic from alien territories. They appear to be in a state of panic. Word of our capabilities is spreading throughout their empire. Good, Taemin replied grimly. Let them panic. Let them understand what happens when someone threatens humanity. The hunt continued for 3 days. Human ships pursued the surviving aliens across light years, showing them that there was no escape from human justice. When it finally ended, only 1 alien ship remained intact. Warlord Vextar's flagship limped back toward Earth, its crew broken and its commander defeated. They had been allowed to survive for one purpose, to carry a message back to their empire. Human fleet surrounded the alien ship as it approached Earth's orbit. Admiral Taemin himself boarded the vessel, accompanied by Colonel Sujin and a team of Marines. They found Vextar alone on his bridge, the rest of his crew dead or fled. The mighty warlord who had conquered 17 worlds sat in his command chair like a broken old man. Warlord Vextar, Admiral Taemin said calmly, you are now a prisoner of the Earth Defense Force. You will be returned to your empire with a message. What message? Vextar asked in a voice barely above a whisper. Colonel Sujin stepped forward.